You're listening to Art of the Unknown, the podcast about traveling inwards, outwards, and onwards. Hey guys, and welcome back to the show. You're listening to episode number 25, and I'm your host, Sarah Cruz. So, for those of you new to the show, this is basically a podcast where I am documenting my spiritual journey into the unknown. And when I talk about the unknown, I am talking about places both on this earth and within the self. If you haven't done so already, you can check out my website, artoftheunknownpodcast.com. There you can see pictures of my trip. You can read my blog. So basically, what I was saying is that this podcast is a way for me to document everything that is happening, not just throughout my trip, but what is happening inside of me as I travel onwards. And more recently, what has been happening is that I am seeing parts of myself almost clearly being reflected in the outside world. Okay, so let me try to explain that. I have been in Spain now for about 2 months, and now is the time where I am beginning to say goodbye to people. But what I think is happening is that by making it almost more difficult than it needs to be, what that is showing me is that there are parts of myself that I still struggle with. And one of those things is letting go. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, letting go for me is very difficult. Okay. I am trying to become more accepting of the flow of life and accepting the fact that things come and things go. And you know what? You can't hold on to things forever, but part of me still wants to. Part of me does not want to let go of the things that I have. And part of me definitely still struggles in seeing things, seeing people, and even seeing situations change and everything shift, okay? I definitely feel this internal pull happening right now. And like I said, it started when I had to say goodbye to the first person that I met here that I actually really liked. So seeing people leave and feeling that pain associated with people leaving, I think what that is doing is that it's reflecting back at me what my current internal state of being is. And right now, it is showing me that I still have a need to hold on and a need to keep things as they are. But what I also think it is that I think it's also a feeling of resistance that I have towards allowing things into my life, but also allowing things to leave. I can't continue to live in a state of resistance because things are going to change. Things are changing. Things are always changing. And I think that if there are parts of me that are trying to keep that from happening and trying to hold something still outside of myself, I think that's also a reflection of me trying to keep something still within myself. Yes, so this this whole saying goodbye thing has definitely stirred up a lot of things within myself that I haven't necessarily reflected on in a while, but I think it's good. I think it's good because I need to see what's going on. And like I said, I think in an episode, 2 episodes ago, is that we need other people to show us parts of ourselves that we cannot see on our own. And for me, one of the parts would be seeing people leave. I need those other people to come to stay in my life And then I need them to leave in order to show me the part of myself that is trying to attach, that is trying to hold on, and that is almost in a way trying to control the flow of life by not allowing things to go and to be free and just exist how they are in their current state of flow. By me trying to hold on to that, it's almost as though I am trying to change the course of the universe or not just allow things to be how they are. Okay, so upon my recent inward reflection of letting go and letting things leave and letting things come into my life gracefully and in the flow, if you want to call it that. So, what this has been doing is it is making me question what exactly does it mean to let go? What is letting go? And more specifically, what does letting go feel like? Okay, because I don't know if I necessarily completely and 100% grasp this whole point. And a reason that I say this is because, yes, I see that it is more painful than I think it needs to be to see things in my life change and see things shift and see people leave and just see everything become different. I think, yes, that is difficult and that is showing me that I do have, not that I need anything, but it's showing me my internal state as I relate to letting go. But what has also been coming up recently is that how do you know if you have let go of something? Because there are things that have happened in the past. There are parts of myself, blah, 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 blah. Okay, there are things that I think or I am so sure that I have let go of, but then they pop back up. And this really makes me question, how do you really know if you've let something go? What is letting go? How do you know when you've let something go? Because that is the state of confusion that all of this letting go talk is kind of bringing up for me right now. And I say this because, okay, so in my podcast, I really don't like to use the example of dating and guys, but I'm going to do it right now because that is just the fact of the matter, okay? So recently, I was thinking about how do I even put this? So recently, I was thinking about a guy that I used to date, and I was realizing how much I have let go of that situation. And in my mind, I pretty much came to the conclusion that I had let go of it. No, that I had let go of it, that I had moved on, and that everything is just, it was good. It was almost as if that chapter of my life was finally done and dusted and complete, okay? So I had convinced myself that I had let go of that situation. And of course, the next day, it all came back up. And I started to cry about it, which I haven't done in a while. And what this was showing me is that how do you know if you've let something go? When I am thinking that I've let something go and I have convinced myself that I've let something go, but then it comes back up, it's almost as though it's confusing for me because what does that mean? There's more work that needs to be done. Maybe I didn't let go good enough, or maybe I did let go, but I didn't I didn't let go long enough. This whole concept of letting go is a little bit confusing to me. And I think it's confusing because I am not exactly sure if I am doing it right. So when I think about letting go, what I think about is that it basically means accepting things for how they are. And when I think about letting go, the way that I see it is that if something has happened or if something is happening or if something will happen in the future, I think that the state of letting go means being okay with what happens either way. If something happens that you want, you're okay with it. But if something happens that you don't want, you need to be okay with it as well. And I think that that is what the letting go concept kind of means, is that you have no attachment to the outcome, but also in a way no attachment to everything leading up to the outcome, and no attachment to anything in, I guess, in general, which I guess can sound a little bit confusing, because I don't think that letting go means that you don't really care. I think letting go means being okay and being at peace with whatever happens, because in a way, it's almost as if though you are realizing that no matter what happens, you can't be harmed, because everything that you need and everything that you have and everything that is going to help sustain you and keep you going through this earth and this journey and whatever you want to call it, you already have all of that inside of you. So for you to be dependent on anything external, I think that letting go means that you've come to realize that you don't need to be dependent on anything else besides what you have and what you are and where you are at in the moment. And of course, understanding the concept, I feel, is definitely a lot easier than it is putting it into application, because even right now, I can almost feel a sense of heaviness inside of me. I can almost feel a sense of something weighing down on my soul. And it's hard to identify because I don't know what that is. I don't know why sometimes I feel as though it is almost difficult just to exist. And when I think about letting go and I want to let go, I think the hard part is understanding and actually doing it, because I don't know what I am letting go of. Like, what inside of me needs to be let go, okay? I am willing to let go. I am open to it. I want it to leave, but I don't know what it is inside of me that needs to leave, and I don't know how to get it to leave. And that's why I want to bring up this question of letting go of what? Because I'm confused. I don't know. Like I said, I want to let it go, but I don't know what it is, and I don't know exactly how to do that. And I know that there are parts of me that are still chained to the past, and I know that I am being affected by the fact that I haven't let go of things, but I don't know how to do that. Do you do you just wish it away? Do you meditate on it? Do you use affirmations day in and day out to let that shit go? Because I honestly, I don't know. And this is why I feel like I am almost not progressing like I want to, because if I feel like I've let something go, but then it comes back up, it makes me question if I'm doing this right. Have I done the right thing? Am I doing the right thing? And maybe I'm just being too hard on myself, because when I imagine letting go of something, I imagine letting go of all of it. I imagine it being gone. Whatever is in the past, whatever is keeping me down, whatever is weighing on my soul, all I can do is imagine where I am, which feels heavy, and where I want to be, which feels light. So when I look at where I am and where I want to be, I see that there's a difference. And for me, letting go means getting rid of everything that I don't need, that I don't want, and that I've been holding on to. But maybe what's happening is that I'm envisioning letting go as a whole, as opposed to doing it step by step. Like they say in Spain, poco a poco, okay, little by little. Okay, so if we're going to have to let go of things little by little, which I know I would much rather have them all done and dusted at the same time, but maybe that's not the route that we need to go down. So What I possibly think needs to happen is if we're going to let go of things little by little, that means letting go of things only as they are coming up. Okay. So, for example, like I said, I was thinking about someone that I dated recently, and I was getting really angry at myself that I was still thinking about this. And I was also getting angry about the fact that I cried about it. I thought I was done with that. I thought I had moved on, okay? I thought I had let go. But what that is showing me is that apparently I haven't. Apparently, there are parts of me that are still attaching to the past and still attaching to that situation. But what I came to realize upon reflection of what was happening is that I had let go of the past. I had let go of the situation. I had let go of the fact that, you know what, sometimes you just try it with someone and it doesn't work out. Okay, I get that. I accept that. Fine, whatever. So I think I had let go of that part, but what I think I was still holding on to was my own judgment of myself in the past. So hopefully I can try to make this make sense. So basically, in my mind, what I was doing is by looking at the past and looking at what happened and basically falling for someone that I shouldn't have fallen for, or dated someone I shouldn't have dated, or whatever you want to call it. All I can see is when I look back at the past is all I'm doing is placing judgment on myself. And all I can think about is how stupid I was. How could I have done that? How did I allow myself to get hurt? Basically, all I'm doing is putting myself down for the decisions that I made in the past that led to me getting hurt. And I think what I needed to do was not let go of what had happened, because I feel like I've finally accepted that. But what I have not let go of is all of these harsh judgments that I was basically putting on myself. Like, I was looking at the past, I was seeing myself and being like, Sarah, you were an idiot. Like, what the hell were you thinking? What were you doing? What is wrong with you? And I think that is the part that I need to let go of. I need to let go of just being so mean to my past self, okay? God, have some compassion for yourself. Have some love for yourself, okay? Yes, you are learning how to let go, and letting go means letting go of everything related to the past, to the future, and even to the present. Everything that can be let go of, which is pretty much everything, should be let go of. And I wasn't letting go of that particular aspect of the situation, which is why I think it was coming back up, because it needed to come back up, because I hadn't dealt with it completely and fully. And that was bringing it back to my point, is that I think what needs to happen in this process of letting go is that we can only let go of certain things and certain parts of ourselves that are coming up at the time. Because way back when I began letting go of, say, this specific person I dated in the past, I couldn't begin to forgive myself and let go of the way that I thought about myself in the past until I let go of everything pretty much leading up to that, because you can't let go of everything at once, okay? I feel like if you're going to try to do that, which I have been trying to do, that is just way too much to handle, okay? You have to let go little by little, step by step, and day by day, because it's almost as though it's too big of a burden to complete all at once. And I think by trying to do anything so quickly or so rapidly or all at once, it's just going to come back, because it's not going to be done fully and completely. Okay, so letting go is going to take time, and it's going to be a process that has to be done step by step. Okay, I get that. Sure. That is something I could understand, and that is something that I can work with, because I think part of this process is that things are going to reveal themselves slowly and basically in in time, because that is when you are ready to actually let it go. You're not going to be able to let go of anything that you are not fully ready to accept, and basically you're not going to be able to let go of anything that you're not ready to let go of, because you're going to be facing resistance even in the letting go process. And I think that is what has been happening to me. I find sometimes that even as I am actively trying to let go of something, I find that I am still almost resisting letting go of it because I am trying too hard to let go. You can't let go of something, because I think letting go is letting it be how it is. So it's almost counterintuitive, kind of, to try to let go of something while forcing it to leave, because that's not necessarily letting it go. That's still trying to manipulate the situation and still trying to do everything on your terms and not the terms in which everything around you is kind of playing out. So, the letting go process, like I said, is something that I am still figuring out and trying to understand and letting it unfold as it should and not try to force anything. But another thing or another problem that I have is when I say letting go of what that means is how exactly do you let go of things that you are not even aware of? Because I think sometimes what happens is that I am willing and able to let go of something, but I don't necessarily know what that is. It's almost as though there are parts of you that are so almost hidden and deep within the self that you have to go down there almost looking for something, because they're not just going to pop up out of nowhere. And I say this because it's really easy for us to become so distracted. We can be distracted in so many different ways just living day-to-day life. And if there's something that you're holding on to, how are you supposed to let it go if you don't even know what that is? And I think maybe part of the letting go process would be to be willing to almost accept what you need to let go of next. So it's not the easiest thing to feel as though you are holding on to something heavy and you know that it needs to leave, but you can't necessarily identify what it is. And maybe that means that you have, I guess, maybe more internal searching to do, or going in deeper within yourself before you can get to that point where you are ready to let go. I mean, either way, I think what has to happen is there has to be basically a lot of internal reflection going on to be open to seeing yourself how you are and where you're at and what you are still holding on to and what pain you have not let go of. Because in my mind, letting go means, in a way, being free of attachments, being free of outcome, and also being free of wants and desires. And I feel like if you are actually in that state of wanting to let go and you are letting go of everything, that means everything you're holding on to is gone and that you have no attachment to it. But I feel like you can be in that state of letting go, and then 30 seconds later, you're not. You can. So, what I'm trying to say is that you can be in that state of letting go, and then the next moment afterwards, everything could come back, and it's almost as though you're still holding on to everything that you were holding on to before, and nothing has changed. And I feel like that is almost the problem that I have, is that I can identify points in my life where I have let go, but then down the line, things will keep on coming back. And that's why it's making me question, how exactly do you know once you've let go of something? How do you know when you have fully processed it and it is gone? And then also, how do you know what to let go of? Because if you don't know what you need to let go of, you don't know what to identify within yourself, how exactly are you going to do that? And letting go of what, I think, is a huge question, because it's not the easiest thing. Because if it was the easiest thing, we would all not have anything left that we're holding on to. Okay, it would be gone, we would be done, we would be free, it would be all good. But that is not the case, because you could even see people and they're holding on to resentment, they're holding on to the past, and they may not even realize what exactly they're upset about, or why they don't like this person, or why they're still hurt. And I think that in a way, there's almost a disconnect between feeling that pain and feeling that resentment and that anger, and then knowing exactly where it's coming from and why. And I think that is one of the important things about going inwards and really trying to identify what's down there, is because you are being affected by everything inside of you on a day-to-day basis. And if you don't know what's down there, then you're pretty much just almost as if you're being controlled by everything that has happened to you in the past, because you haven't let it go and it is still down there and it is still affecting you today. And to live in that place of being constantly pulled to the past and by the past and from the past, that is not a state of liberation, and that is not a state of freedom, okay? And if you are chained to that past and that hurt, or whatever you're not letting go of, it could also be fear of the future, okay? These chains and these ways of almost being held onto, they can come in any direction. And if you are being held on by anything, you are not being free. It's like, how can you truly make the best decisions, and how could you move forward when you're only being pulled by the past? And how can you let go of the past when you don't even know what it is about the past that is bothering you? Okay, so I guess these are the questions that I'm trying to ask as I'm figuring out this whole letting go process, because it is a little bit confusing, not just mentally, but internally, okay? I'm trying to let go of things. I am trying to let things come up, but for some reason, it's almost as though I don't know if I don't know if I'm doing it right. I let go of this? Is it still there? I can't identify it. And that is, I guess, part of this struggle, okay? Okay, so speaking of things that I can't identify, I have a little bit of a hard time letting go of emotions, because things happen, right? We are affected every single day by the outside world. And I'm finding that I'm having a hard time letting go of my emotions, because I don't know how to completely and fully, I think, feel them and process them. Okay, so word on the street is that in order to let go of an emotion, you have to feel it completely. And I think that is where I'm having a hard time with. On the emotional aspect of this, is because I don't know if I don't know if I'm completely feeling an emotion as it's coming up, because so what naturally happens is, if I feel something I don't like, I automatically want to push it down, and I automatically want to almost ignore it or distract myself from it, or basically just push it out of my consciousness. So the problem I think that I'm having is that I don't know if I am fully feeling out the feeling. And if I can't fully feel it, then how am I supposed to let it go? How am I supposed to process it? How am I supposed to be free of whatever that feeling is and whatever that past event was, if I can't let it go? And that's very difficult, because how are you supposed to teach somebody to feel a feeling in order to release it? Okay, yes, that is part That is part of the internal work that needs to be done for myself. I get that. And you know what? I guess everyone's path is a little bit different, and that is where I am at right now, okay? Feeling emotions completely and fully in order to let them go is something that I have a hard time with, and I am learning how to do so because I am sick and tired of being chained to the past. I am so sick of not being able to move forward because all of these past pains or emotions or events or anything, flashbacks even. I'm over having anything that is behind me keep on coming up to the present moment because I am done. I want to let go. I want to move on, and I don't want to be affected by anything that I am ready to release because we're all growing, we're all evolving, and we're all moving forward. And we can't do that if we're going to carry the weight of the past. And it doesn't have to be the past, it could be the future, and it could also be the present moment. Carrying anything that does not need to be carried, no matter which direction it's coming from, is only going to keep you down. And that is not what I want, okay? I am confident that I want to keep on moving forward and growing and learning and evolving. And part of this process is letting go. And that is what I am slowly learning. Okay. That is what Spain right now has been teaching me. Okay. Yes, I've only had to say goodbye to one person thus far, but I know in the next coming months, it's going to be a few more because time is flying by, okay? If I've been here for 2 months and I only have about 3 more left, and you know what, this is good cuz this is my preparation for dealing with how to let go of things. Is that, you know what, you're going to have to let go whether or not you like it, because it's going to happen, and how you choose to process that and how you choose to let go is going to be up to you. So it could either be really easy or it could be a little hard. So I think this is a sign that it is something that I need to work on because it is something that is obviously affecting me right now. Okay, so a really good quote about letting go that I heard recently is that basically we have to be aware of what's going on inside of us before we can do anything about it. And what Spain is showing me right now is that it's showing me what is inside of me in terms of letting go, because in for me to be so affected by the fact that people are leaving or things are changing or it's time to move on, if I am so, I want to say, emotionally stirred, or I'm affected so much internally by it, I think what that means is that there's something, I think there's something a little bit deeper going on, almost as though that I want to say the fact that I have to let go of something is almost scary for me. And I think what is happening is that seeing things change and seeing things evolve outside of my control or outside of my wants and desires, I think that is showing me the way in which I try to hold on to something because I fear being without it. And I think that is coming back to the root of the problem, which for me has a lot to do with fear and a lot to do with, I want to say, maybe a little bit of a lack of security within myself. Almost as though if I lose something, I feel like I can't go on without it, which is a little bit extreme, I know, but I think that is the feeling that is happening when I have to let go of something. I don't see how things could be good again or how they could be okay or even better without that in my life. And I think that is something that we all have to kind of come to terms with as we are, I guess, just existing in this world, because it's a constant, we're constantly having to let go of things because things are constantly changing. We are existing in a state of flow, and to hold on to anything in particular or anything outside of us but also inside of us, that is only going to cause resistance because there is nothing that we could hold on to. And I think that is where the pain is coming from, is trying to hold on to something and trying to resist what has to happen, what is going to happen, and what will happen. I guess in the end, all we can do is accept what is and what will be, okay? So I know letting go is a huge topic and we can go on forever about it, but I think that pretty much wraps up today's episode, which is a little bit ironic because even talking about the concept of letting go, I am feeling some resistance about it. So maybe there might be another episode on the topic in the future. But for right now, I think that pretty much sums up everything that I have to say about it. And yes, I want to say thank you for listening. I want to say thank you for everyone who has subscribed to my podcast. I really appreciate it. And I also appreciate everyone that has reached out to me and also left me reviews on iTunes. I appreciate every single one of you that listens. If you want, you can check out my website. It is artsoftheunknownpodcast.com. You can subscribe to my email list. You can send me an email if you want, or you can follow me on Instagram. If you have any questions, also, please do not hesitate to ask. I am here. Talk to me, people. And yes, thank you again for listening. And I will be back next week with another episode. And I am out.